Hi everyone, this is Darian of Lab Shenanigans, and welcome to Scientifically Speaking. On this week's episode, my guests and we talk about the struggles of teaching during COVID, failing general chemistry in college, and sharing some tea over a previous toxic lab. Okay, it's recording. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Scientifically Speaking. Today, I have my beautiful friend, Veronica He. We used to be co-workers in our old lab, and now she is a biology teacher in high school. You teach 9th grade and 10th grade, right?
9th and 11th. Yeah, so freshmen and juniors.
Why 9th and 11th? Why not 10?
So 10th grade, the students take chemistry or physics.
Oh, true. I know you teach an IB program.
Yeah.
You teach in an IB program. Is 11th grade a higher level of biology?
Yeah.
I guess the IB equivalent of
sort of.
biology AP. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. How is teaching so far?
It's okay. I feel like I haven't had the time to process it, like fully process it. So my first year was COVID year. You know, it's still COVID year, but like the initial COVID year. And I felt like I was just constantly trying to keep my head above water. This year, a little bit of the same.
Don't worry, I'm a lifeguard. I can help you.
Yeah, I don't know how to swim, but yeah, so I feel like I've just been trying to play catch up this entire time, all 2 years. And I think that that's kind of what teaching is. There's always something to do.
Yeah.
You're never done.
For the past 2 years, it's kind of been a little unsteady with how teaching, I guess, should be done, or there is really no right way because part of it is teaching online and part of it is teaching in person. And it was really difficult in the beginning to teach online, especially Texas schools when they started pushing students to go back to school and teachers too. And some students, rightfully so, decided to not go to school and want to do it online. I think there was like a really hard method to teach both online and in class.
Yeah, I had to be in the classroom. And initially, I think the first couple of weeks, all the students were online, and then they had the option of coming back. So I would have students sitting in front of me, like in the classroom, and then I would have Zoom open as well. So I would be teaching like to the class and then to the computer as if they were all like there. And what's funny is that last year seems so much easier than this year. I don't know if it's because now I'm seeing everybody in the classroom now, and I have full classrooms now, and with all people with all different personalities, it's difficult to manage everybody.
I don't know about you, but for me, it's so much easier talking to like a computer screen than talking to like people in person. But it's hard for me to be myself if I'm just talking to like a computer screen and there's like no person on the other side. Like I need to see someone because my energy comes from the other person. And so if I'm not seeing the other face, I don't know. I'm just not energetic. I'm just not myself.
That's a good point that you bring up, because I remember last year, all my students would have their cameras off. And, you know, we encourage them to turn their cameras on. But, you know, at the end of the day, I was just like, whatever. You show up, whatever.
Oh, no.
That's fine.
I know. My cousins are in high school. In the middle of all this, they would, quote unquote, go to class by signing in and just laying in bed and sleeping. I know they're not doing the work. They're not even doing the work. And they would just leave their screens off. And I'm like, you guys cannot do that. You guys are not going to learn. And, you know, I'm trying to be like the good older cousin. I'm like, come on, guys, learn, because I promise you, like, you might most likely use this in your college careers. And like, no, I just want to get an A. I'm already passing this class. I'm doing well. And it's like, not even about the grade. It's about learning and using that for your lifelong goals of trying to build good work ethic and stuff. And they're just like, no, I don't care. I'll worry about it later on in life. I'm like, okay, you know, I should not be in parent mode.
I am starting to see I have been seeing some of the drawbacks, I guess, from last year due to students logging in and then just like chilling on their phone or whatever it is that they do at home.
Yeah.
So I think it's been hard for the kids as well to go back into the classroom and actually have to do stuff now.
Yeah.
They're like learning to be a student again.
I guess some of the stuff that they should have learned early on, they didn't learn it. I'm guessing they have to like either relearn it, or they just didn't have like a strong, or they don't have like a strong foundation of that subject.
So I know in like seventh and eighth grade, they learn a mix of chemistry, biology, and physics. So some of my students
Yeah.
remember some biology things like Punnett
Yeah.
squares, I don't know,
Oh, come on, genetics.
food webs, right? Like little things here and there that are
Yeah,
like
I'm trying to
easy
think
to
what else. I'm
grasp.
trying to think what else I learned. I think we learned about astronomy a bit. Seventh grade, we learned the digestive system. We learned about elements. Oh, I remember we had to memorize the first 20 elements in the
You
periodic table.
did?
Yeah, we had to learn the number and the elements. And I think that's it.
But why? Like,
I don't know. I don't know. But hey, it really helped me a lot in general chemistry in
okay,
college. There are times when like I didn't have to look at the
yeah,
periodic table that were
yeah,
like given to us for the tests because already like we already
yeah.
memorized. We know like the weights. Like I will never forget carbon is 12.01. I will just never forget that. And nitrogen is 14 and oxygen is 16. Like I will just never
Wow.
forget that. Hydrogen 1. Like watch watch like I actually looked all that up before this and I memorized it and I tried to bring us to
Yeah.
that topic to make me sound
You're like, I'm
smart.
gonna bring this up somehow.
Yeah, how am I going to strategically talk about the element? Let's talk about school. Let's try to weave my way to this topic.
So I actually failed general chemistry, my only
Hey, we
class.
love honesty.
My only
Yes.
class in college that I failed, and I was so sad. So I was biology major pre-farm route,
Yeah.
and then I
Mhm.
failed chemistry. And I was super distraught. Like I'd never experienced this before. I went into this downward spiral, didn't know what I wanted to do with my life.
Aw.
And I mean, like in college, all throughout college, I felt like I would have an existential crisis like every week because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I picked pharmacy because it seemed
Mhm.
stable and also like,
Yeah.
you make six figures as a pharmacist. So I was like, oh, okay, I could do that.
Yeah, you make six figures counting. No, I was kidding. I'm kidding.
I don't get it.
Like counting
Oh,
pills.
okay.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
But no, I'm just being shady.
But yeah, then I failed chem and I like, fuck, I don't know. Okay, like I guess I'll just finish my biology degree. The next year I turned 21. So I just started
Mhm.
drinking like all of my I was working part-time at some restaurant. All my paychecks would go towards going out and like drinking.
Maybe like if drinking in moderation, if that helps with your mental health and it helps you relax. Hey, no, I genuinely believe if you go out, have a good time, do a couple of drinks every now and then at a good pace, it can relieve a lot of stress.
Yeah.
I think in college, it's also very tempting to tie like your worth to your grades. And if you didn't do well in a
Yep.
class or do well on a test, you think that you're not worthy enough to pursue a certain career. But that is not
Yeah.
true. That is not true.
What's sad is that some of my high school students think that way too. They measure
Hmm.
their worth by their productivity. I speak to some of my juniors. I'm like, oh, like, are you excited for break? What are you gonna do? And they're like, oh, I'm gonna work. I have school stuff. I need to catch up on this. I'm like, you guys are 16. Like, take some time to be 16 and do what
Hmm.
16-year-olds do. I don't know. It's kind of sad.
Definitely there's a
Yeah.
balance. Like I think it's good that you're advising them to be 16 and chill. But I think at the same time, like maybe them doing all this is in the long term, like prepping them to build good work ethic and prioritizing things and learning how to
Yeah.
balance. Because I remember when I was 16, I think my main priority was like money. I would always feel bad if I asked my mom for
Yeah.
money. And so I told myself at the age of 16, I'm going to get a
Mhm.
job. So I became a lifeguard for like
Lifetime,
3 years.
right?
Literally, yes. Oh my, you remembered.
Remember.
Yes. Lifetime
I remember your
Fitness.
smoothie story. The
Yeah.
guy that
Oh
ordered like a
my God.
blueberry smoothie or some shit.
Oh my. Okay. Backtrack. We're gonna sidetrack. We're gonna sidetrack. Okay, so I worked at Lifetime Fitness as as a lifeguard, a swim instructor, and in the cafe at one point. I really bounced around because I just wanted to make a lot of money. Every time I came home from college, during like the breaks, during Thanksgiving or winter break, I would work as a swim instructor and in the cafe for like a month. But I would really rack up my hours because I just wanted to be productive. But anyway, I worked in the cafe, and that was my first time working in food and just having to
People, customer service.
deal with people. Lifetime already has like a lot of snobby rich people anyway. At the time when I got nervous, I would stutter. I would stutter, okay? I just remember this guy ordered a berry smoothie, but I couldn't hear him. So I was like, I'm sorry, what? And he was like, oh, I want this smoothie. But he wasn't enunciating his words. And I was like, uh, uh, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, can I get a smoothie? I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? I can't hear you. And I forgot what he wanted. Like he wanted some type of berry smoothie. So I typed it in and I'm like, all right, I don't remember what the price was. It's $5.82. And he looked over at his friend. What was it? Five, what? And then he kept making fun of me and he kept making fun of my stutter. And I just like felt so down on myself and I was upset. There's always that customer's always right. And I don't want to get in trouble with my manager. And so I fought back the urge of getting upset and I made a smoothie and I gave it to him. And I don't know why. I don't know what came over me, but I apologized. I apologized for stuttering. Yeah, literally. I know. I was so upset. I mean, looking back, I'm so upset. But at the time, I was like, I'm just a little kid and he's a grown man. He knows he's right. I'm wrong. Oh my gosh. I will never forget that story.
Yeah, it sucks working in the service industry. You just put up with so much shit and you have to eat so much shit and just like take it. It sucks.
Ooh. I mean, I'm sure you have a lot of stories of working in the restaurant and in bars and stuff, right?
I used to think I have a relatively good memory, but lately I don't think so.
Girl, we are so we're very similar. Like, I think our views on relationships. Okay, no, let me backtrack. That was so random. You and I both, I feel like I am 27 years old and my memory is diminishing. Literally, I'm always like, what did I do last week? In fact, what did I do last night? Did I get any work done?
I know. I can't think like a day ahead. It's really bad.
Like my memory is so bad. Like I have to document everything because I'm working with a grad student right now and she's teaching me how to do work with cells. And do you know what passage numbers are? Like I'm just learning. Okay, no, I'm not going to explain it because it's all new to me too. And I don't want to butcher it. But anyway, yeah, really. She asked me a question and she's like, oh, did we work with these cells? Like, do we do this a couple days ago? And I was like, honestly, I don't even know. Like, I really don't know. Let me look back at my notebook. I am nothing without my notebook. I write everything in it. That's how I document everything. I'm very old school. But anyway, I'm like, yeah, let me double check my notebook and it's all there. But you cannot ask me without my phone, without my notebook, without anything because I do not know. I think when it comes to like tasks like that, I don't know. But if you ask me like a specific concept, I will know because generally certain concepts or certain, I don't know, lessons or stories, if they intrigue me or they interest me, then yes, I will remember it. But if it's boring to me, then I will not remember it. Ooh, that brings me to the story. Ooh, spicy. This is spicy. In college, there are these two girls that I would always mix up. Let's call one Laura and one Samantha. And I would always get Laura and Samantha mixed up. In fact, at one point, I thought they were one person because they looked they looked almost identical. They're not related, but they looked identical. One had a very like upbeat personality, and the other one was a bit more on the quieter side. Laura is the upbeat one. I would always call Laura and Samantha Laura. And we would always study in the same spot. And then one day when I came up to Samantha, I was like, hey, Laura. I guess she got really annoyed of me. And she was like, Darian, this is the 5th time you've called me Laura. I am not Laura. I am my own person. We don't even look like. Why do you keep calling me Laura? And I honestly don't know what got over me. And I was honestly such an asshole back then. I was like, I'm sorry. Like, if you were that important to me, then I would remember you, but I don't. So Yeah, I know. I know. And I felt so bad looking back. I was a different person back then. I think about like a couple months later, I apologized to her because I at the time I didn't realize what I did was wrong. And I think I was just very like kind of like in my own
Yeah.
bubble, focusing on my own
Mhm.
problems. I've changed. I'm a changed man. I was baptized. No, I was changed. I'm still changing. What's that one song from Wicked? I feel like I
From
should
Big
know
Mouth?
this.
No,
It's
no.
no,
You know what I'm talking about?
girl.
The I'm going to
No, I don't watch
change
Big Mouth.
ocean. Well, actually,
How does the song go? Wait, I might
I
know it.
don't want to.
How
I
does the
don't want
song
to
go?
sing.
She's like, I don't want to sing. I wish I could sing. I was gonna like pretend to show off, but I can't sing either. So,
Yeah. Do you know the premise of Big Mouth though?
I kind of do. They're like hormone
Yeah.
monsters,
Like
and it's like like little teenagers. They're going through
yes, yes, yes,
puberty,
yes.
and all these monsters are like trying to tempt them to have sex and stuff, and it's all that high school
It's
drama, right?
middle
But it's
school.
like
Yeah.
middle school, and they're all trying to like I think like battle with their own like
Yeah. They're
hormone
like
monsters,
they're
demons and
starting to
stuff, and
masturbate and like I don't know,
yeah,
getting their
yeah,
periods. And I used to think the show was hilarious, but I couldn't binge watch it because it would get too cringy. And now that I'm a teacher and I
yeah.
work with high school kids, like I can't watch it anymore. Like it just grosses me out.
Honestly, when I look back and think about the stuff that I did in high school,
Oh
I'm like,
gosh.
how was I? Yeah, I know. Like I was like, should I share this? No, I think this is too TMI. I'm not gonna share any personal stories. Middle and high school is a good time of self-exploration and exploring and learning, about
Yeah.
sexuality and stuff. Girl, I knew I was gay at an
Yeah.
early age. I learned more in middle and
Uh-huh.
high school.
How's your new lab?
Oh my gosh, my new lab is
Oh.
amazing. It is tenfold much
Hmm.
better than our old
Hmm.
lab. Our PI is just he's not micromanaging. He's there, but he isn't there like breathing down
Yeah.
our necks like our old PI. And what I love about him, when he was giving me a lab tour, he showed me the lab, and then we had to walk over to his office. I'm used to PI's offices being next to the
Yeah.
lab, but we ended up walking out of the lab, going around like the student
Hmm.
dining area, and then walking downstairs to go to his
Hmm.
office. And then I was like, oh, that's interesting. Why? And I asked him, and he said, well, one, like I think it's a good idea for me to just always step out of my office, and if I need to go to the lab, it's a good workout. And two, I don't want my office to be right there so that I'm not accidentally just like
Yeah.
watching my students, or like my students don't think that I'm watching them and micromanaging them. And I'm like, wow, it's like this is my dream PI. This is my dream lab. He's just so laid back. He has a lot of faith and
Hmm.
trust in his students. Everyone in this lab is so self motivated, and he doesn't pressure
Hmm.
you into doing anything. And he's always giving great advice, and he always has your back. I wish I had joined this lab
From the
early
beginning.
on.
Yeah.
I wish that the past, what, 3, 4 years didn't happen. But, I always tell myself that sometimes in life, I have to experience all the bad things first in order to appreciate the good
Mhm.
things. And so, I mean, there are a lot of great takeaways from our old lab. Like, I got to meet you,
Yeah.
beautiful Veronica, and I miss our little tea time and
I
us
miss that too.
drinking
I
tea and
miss working
catching
with
up on
you.
life and venting about work during lunch hours or during lunch.
It was fun.
Met a lot of great people, yeah. And I always talk about my frustrations about our old lab, but I think on the bright side, RPI did teach us a lot. She's kind of like a tiger mom. That's probably the best way to describe. Like a tiger mom on steroids.
Yeah.
But I think rather than trying to push us to our limits for our own self benefit, I think she did it for her own self benefit to make her look good, to try to build her resume and try to get that tenure position.
Yeah.
It just seems like every time we wanted to do something, like, for example, I wanted to leave lab early so I can go perform with my improv troupe. There was always like, oh, well, you need to stay later to get more data so that we can make more figures for my next grant. And if you don't do this, then I'm just going to tell the admission committee that you're not hardworking.
That's very manipulative.
Oh, I know. Yeah, and that is literally the tip of the iceberg. I don't know if you want to talk about this. Definitely, if you don't want to, we can skip this topic. But did she ever do anything like that to you?
She was not very, she was more subtle with me. I think it's
Oh yeah.
because I was new, but I did notice that she would definitely pick on you a lot more. She was very critical of you. She didn't try to hide it. And she would try to like mask it under, oh, well, this is for your own good, or we're trying to, better you. This is going to help you become a better researcher.
Yeah, exactly. That was always the
Mhm.
facade. Like, oh yeah, well, I'm doing all this
Help
to
you.
yeah, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
Bitch, you're killing my mental health.
Yeah, that was not a good place for you. I'm glad you're in a new lab that you like and have supportive people around you, and that our old lab is a thing of the past now.
Oh my God. You're like my therapist. Literally, actually, that is actually why I invited you to this episode because I knew that you would be a great person to talk to, and it's free of charge, so free therapy right now.
Yeah,
So
what else is
thank
going
you.
on? How's your love life?
Oh no. Ooh, my love life. Ooh. Actually, we have not talked about that. Well, I don't want to talk about it on here.
Yeah.
Maybe like on our own time, like dinner one day. But I will tell you that our 4 months is coming up
Mm.
soon. But by the time that this episode is
Yeah.
published, it's gonna be like
Uh-huh.
5 months. But anyway.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
You seem
Thank
happy.
you.
I'm glad you're happy.
So when you joined our lab, it was back in
Yeah, that
2019.
seems so long ago.
2019, February 2019. And I remember that date because that was our first day moving to the new lab space. Our PI was transitioning from postdoc to PI. And your first day in lab was also our first day in the new lab space. And it was just me, our PI,
And me.
and you.
Yeah.
And you just
Three
the
of
three
us.
of us, the
Damn.
trio, and there was no lab manager. There were no grad students. It was PI and two research techs. Think of like an almost completely empty
Mhm.
lab with some new lab
Mhm.
equipment. That's it. And so we had to start the
Yeah.
organization process of this lab, like how to set everything up, ordering new items on Quartzy. Were you there when she pushed us to download Slack?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
God.
Okay. Let's go into this Slack still. Okay, well, actually, we didn't download Slack until like I think
It
two
was
or
a
three
few months
months in.
in.
No, two
Yeah.
months in. It was about a month or two in.
It was hard to keep up with.
The way that she tried selling this to us was that every lab uses Slack, which I totally
Yeah.
buy. I understand. Like labs, they need to communicate with one another, and sometimes email isn't the best way or the quickest way. So I didn't mind downloading Slack, but I did not want to download Slack for lab
Mhm.
because she is she was very
Mhm.
micromanaging and she always expected us to reply to every email
Immediately.
very
Yeah.
quickly. And it was always so annoying. And then she would email us on the
Yep.
weekends. And she would also get mad if we didn't reply to her on the weekends when we have our own personal
Mhm.
lives going on, you know? At this time, when she was pushing us to download Slack, we just hired our lab manager and we had a rotation student, which we won't say his name, we'll call him Bob. And she was pushing us to all download Slack, but we were all so hesitant because we didn't want to be bombarded with emails or bombarded with messages from her. I think out of all of us, I was the one who was very resistant and I was the last one to download Slack. Our lab manager downloaded it, but turned the
I did
notifications off.
too. I did not have my notifications on for Slack because I know it would be going off all the time. And she already sent us so many emails at any time of the day, like 8 p.m., 10 p.m. It never stopped.
I don't mind you sending emails, but if I have some things going on, if I'm doing an experiment, like I'm not going to
Yeah,
reply
it
to your
stresses
email
me out.
ASAP. Like let me finish my experiments, girl. We had a long talk in her office because she was so upset that I didn't want to download Slack. And I was like, girl, like I don't want to download Slack because I don't want you to bombard me with messages. And so I don't think she understood where I was coming from. I genuinely think that she thinks that I didn't want to download Slack because I didn't believe that other labs were using it. She was implementing this rule onto us because she wants to be mean to us. I'm like, no, girl, I don't want you to annoy me. That's the thing.
I remember she would email us something and then send the same message on Slack, and I'd be confused to which one to respond to. I just remember that being a thing.
Another thing that I did not like about this lab was that all of our social events were awkward as fuck.
Oh my gosh.
I would rather have the social events without her. With the rest of the lab, we would have a good time without her. In fact, the times that she wasn't in lab because she had to go to a conference were probably one of the best times that we've had together. When Bob was done with his rotation for the lab, we had like a last lunch with him. It was Bob, lab manager, administrator. You know who?
Yes, I remember.
Administrator and PI. Our PI emailed us on Saturday. Yes, you remember. Yes, you remember. She emailed us on Saturday asking us, I think, if we wanted to have the lunch on Monday or Tuesday, right?
Something like that. And then a place as well. And she was like, oh, if I don't receive a reply or something, then we're going to go to this place. And then I think all of us were busy with our projects or whatever, so we didn't reply. We were all thinking, okay, yeah, that's fine, right?
Yeah. She emailed us on Saturday about like the time, the place, and then Monday comes around. We had Monday lab meeting.
Okay, I remember.
Yeah, yes.
I thought she had asked us, oh, is everybody fine with this? And we all told her.
We were all getting ready for lab meeting. And right before lab meeting, she walked over to our little bay and then she blew up and said that no one replied to her email. So therefore, we're not going to have a social lunch. So then she like stormed back to her office and then we all looked at each other and we're like, what the heck? We opened her email. We said, yes, this day, Tuesday, and this restaurant is fine at this time. And we were just like, we don't even want to have this lunch with you. Like, if anything, let's just cancel this lunch and we can have our own little lunch.
Who gave lab meeting that day? I feel bad for that person. It was probably you.
Right? I'm so tempted to open up the Google Doc or whatever it's on to see who presented. I know it was like around March. Our PI like cried to me and I feel kind of bad laughing at it, but let me explain the story.
Don't feel bad.
Like I always said, alligator tears. Right from the get-go, when Bob rotated in our lab, I think he noticed all the red flags immediately. I was very surprised that Bob opened up to us and wanted to grab lunch with us. All three of us would have lunch. I think most of the time we just vented and talked about how stressed we were and how miserable and how we all wanted to quit lab. And we're even like persuading Bob to not join the lab because she's like putting up this nice front for him. Even with that nice front, we were still seeing toxic behavior. I think he was on the fence with joining this lab and joining another lab across the hallway. We vented at lunch quite often. And then the one time when RPI flew to another state for a conference, she was gone for an entire week. We were still communicating with her through email, through, I think, Slack.
We had a Zoom meeting too.
Yeah. Oh, we did have a Zoom meeting and it was in the coffee area. I was running a Western blot and I was asking our lab manager how to correctly quantify it or something. And she was telling me one thing, and then through email, our PI was telling us another thing. I guess I didn't know which way to do it. PI ended up having to call me to further explain how to quantify it. That conversation went into her crying. She said that someone spilled the beans and that I was unhappy in lab. She was pretty much, I guess, begging me to stay and I guess make herself feel better by making me reassure her that I'm going to stay in this lab to finish out this project. This conversation went on for a while and she was just crying. You were there too. Like, I was sitting at my desk. You were sitting at your desk. I don't know if you could hear, but I was like...
A little bit.
I was like, it's okay. And then finally we hung up, me and you, and we're like, who told her? Was it lab manager? Was it administrator? Or was it Bob? Yeah. And so there was like this low-key manhunt of who snitched. After Bob decided to not join our lab and join the other lab, we found out that it was Bob. And then we never saw him the same way. And he was shunned out of our group. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. We're all so good friends. I think in retrospect, it was good that
he said something.
Because honestly, we didn't have the guts to tell RPI. And Or if we did, she would try to gaslight
Yeah.
us.
I mean, I remember her trying to rationalize her behavior towards you by saying it was in your best interest. She was trying to help
Yeah.
you become a better researcher.
Oh my, and then the times that I would get frustrated or flustered, she would try to blame it on me by saying like, "Oh, you're just too emotional right now. You know, if you want to be a good PhD student, you need to learn how to deal with this." And because when I was in your shoes, like I learned how to deal with it. No, I'm not in your shoes.
Yeah.
I don't want to become a faculty. I don't want to get tenure. I don't know if another guest brought this up, but I know that when she was a grad student, she threw a lot of people under the bus. And some of those people are her colleagues now in the same institution. I don't know why. They secretly do not like her. And I'm like, y'all, it does not need to be a secret. Y'all need to let it out. The truth will set you free.
Okay, weird question. Do you clean the lint out of your belly button?
Oh my, yeah. Well, like I clean it like once a month. Like I get
like every
a
day.
tweezer. You know, like once a month. Once a month.
Pull it out.
Yeah, okay, like once a month, I will. Yeah, I'm surprised because when I shower every day, like I clean my belly button, I clean every crack and crevice of my body. And so when I clean my belly button like once a month, I'm actually very surprised to see stuff come out. Like, I mean, it's not a lot. It's just like a little nookie.
I guess we can only hope that she has learned. She's like aware of
no.
You don't think so?
Oh no. Yeah, no, I know. So for those that are listening, let me give you a little brief timeline. So after we hired you, you stayed for 6 months and then you left. And then immediately we hired Jessie, who was our research coordinator in episode 1. She stayed for 3 months. And then after she left, that's when I told her that I'm planning to leave. I gave her like my little 3 months. While I was preparing to leave, we hired.
Is it Jay? Is that who you're talking about? Okay.
Yeah, we ordered.
We ordered.
We hired Jonathan.
Wow.
And Jonathan was.
That's a good cover.
We hired Jonathan, and he was my replacement, and I had to train him. He stayed for 6 months. I gave him all the warning signs, and he already saw them. He saw all the red flags, and he's like, "No, like I think I can stay here for at least 2 years and then get into med school." He wanted to go down the MD PhD route.
Okay.
He got a really good MCAT score. Like I thought he was set for med school. He applied. I think he got in and everything, but because he was so traumatized by our lab, he was like, "Fuck this. I'm never going to be in a lab again." And then he left, applied for a master's in engineering at another school. He actually loves that lab so much that I think he's pursuing a PhD now.
Okay, that's right.
I want to invite him to this podcast so that he can spill some stories, but he's like, "No, like I'm scared." I'm like, scared of what? None of us are going to ask for a letter of recommendation. None of us are going to like ask for anything.
I am grateful she gave me a chance though, because I was out of college, right? I had some experience with flies and I had applied to at least a dozen other labs and never heard back from them. So I am grateful for the experience.
I think what really helped your resume was that you had fly experience. If you didn't have fly experience, she probably wouldn't have hired you.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, because she really needed someone to carry the fly project. At the time when we were hiring you, we interviewed a lot of people that were just not fit for the position. Some of the personalities didn't really like mesh well with ours. We always asked, 1, do we think that they'll do good research? 2, can we envision ourselves working with them? And some of the people, I was like, I don't know. Some of these people, it's just hard to carry a conversation. And I knew that after our interview, I think we were giving you a lab tour. And it was through that lab tour when I was like, okay, like I fucks with her.
I was so nervous.
And I liked you. I really liked you.
I remember looking you up on LinkedIn.
LOL. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I have not updated my LinkedIn in forever. I mean, every now and then I'll go on LinkedIn and then I'll have like all these people try to connect with me and I'll connect with you, but I'm not going to be on LinkedIn and I don't comment. I go on there to see who's messaging me. I reply back to messages, who's connected with me, accept. And then that's it. That's all I do on LinkedIn.
You still have the same picture?
I think I have like a more
glasses on. He had a big smile.
Oh, that was my graduation photo. I know what photo you're talking about too. No. I updated my
Oh
picture. It's more
no, you don't. Oh
professional.
my bad. Hold on.
She's a professional. I don't think anyone uses
Yeah.
LinkedIn seriously. Like sometimes for shits and giggles, I just want to just shit post on LinkedIn. When you're looking for a lab position, no one's going to go on LinkedIn. In fact, I think Twitter is a better place for looking up lab positions.
Okay, she had sent me this itinerary for my interview, and I got
Yeah.
freaked out because I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting to meet like 5 different people. So I looked you guys all up, and I
Yeah.
think the only thing that popped up when I looked up your name was your LinkedIn. That's all. I was like, oh, he went to
Ah,
UT. Oh, he swims.
all right. I swam all throughout high school and college to exercise in college, not like on the team. I don't know why, but every time I tell people that I swam in college, they think that I swam on the UT team. I only swam just to work out, just to exercise. That was my only way of staying fit.
Oh, have you seen the lab page? There are pictures of you still on there. There's one of me.
Oh, the old lab.
Yeah,
I try not to go because I'm really traumatized. You have no
yeah.
idea. I am so traumatized. But the last time that I was on there, I'm like, LOL, half of these people don't even work there anymore. Like literally all these people left. Sometimes I just want to like email our OPI and just tell her, can you please take my picture down?
No, you did so well. I guess it's up to you. You did a lot of work. You did a lot of good work, you know.
My trauma is so bad that I do not want to be associated with that lab.
Mhm. Yeah, it's understandable. I think it's fair to request that then.
That means I have to email her and it's gonna be small talk and
Yeah, yeah,
I don't want to
yeah.
I don't want to
Oh,
engage. Like
yeah, I get it.
alrighty. Well, thank you so much, Veronica. Do you have any advice for our
I
followers?
prepared for this. So, something that I need to do better, something I need to also practice myself is taking time to reflect. Like in my teacher training, my professors
Yeah.
really emphasized the importance of taking time to reflect. In fact, that was actually like an assignment that we had to do every 2 weeks. We had to write like a page
Yeah.
on reflection of how our week had been. And I'll be honest with you, my past 2 years of teaching, I have not done that. Like I've been so mentally drained by the time I get home. And I think that's why, like
Yeah.
when you asked me earlier, like how teaching is going, and I said I still haven't really processed it fully. And I think it's because I haven't taken the time to do any true reflection. So yeah, that would be some advice that I'd give. And that would apply for anybody, right? Anybody in any
Yeah.
position working towards any career path. I think it's important to take time to reflect and think about what has been working for you, what hasn't been, how far you've gotten, right? Especially for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just to help put things into perspective.
Journaling.
Yeah.
Journaling, y'all.
Yeah.
That helps a lot.
Yeah, I really need to start doing that.
Even talking out loud. Talking out loud, talking to a therapist.
Yeah, I
Yeah. That is a
know.
form of
I need to
reflecting. Talking to a
find.
therapist. Go to mine. Zoe. Zoe's amazing.
Okay, I'll look into her.
I think even talking on this podcast is a form of reflecting.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Oh my
yeah,
gosh,
yeah,
setting like short and long-term goals for yourself. I don't know if I'm ready for that because then that forces
yeah.
me to think about the future. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet.
I feel like I'm put in those situations every time my family's
Yeah.
like, so what are you wanting to do in 10 years? I'm like, what I'm doing now isn't what I'm wanting to do full time, like in the next 10 years,
Yeah.
but definitely what I'm doing now is helping me
Mm-hmm.
build to what I want to do in 10
Mm-hmm.
years, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, y'all are only just looking at the journey. You're not looking at the end goal yet, the end result. And even if this is the end result, like, I'm sensing a little judgmental vibes from y'all. If the listeners want to follow you, where can they find you, Veronica He?
I am only on Instagram. My
The
handle
IG
is banana cake. I don't
banana
post.
cake.
I hardly post. So no entertainment there.
Well, wow, that means a lot. She barely posts, but if you look closely, you'll see a picture of us
Yes.
together at Axelrod.
Yes. So many pictures of us together. But
Some sexy schmexy
we
pictures.
should go again.
I'm down. Ooh, whoa. I love Mitchell. I miss the Micheladas there. I have not had a good Michelada. I made some at home. Girl, they are not good. They are not good.
We should go. I'm down. I'm on spring break.
You are on spring break. Ooh, okay. Next Sunday. Okay, wait. We can talk about this off air. All right. Well, thank you so much, Veronica. And I will see everyone next. I keep saying I will see. I will not see y'all. But I hope everyone has a wonderful day. All right. Thank you so much, Veronica.
Bye.
And I will talk to you later.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Bye, guys.